I ain't gonna lie, I seen something on the internet scrolling through. And this is what I do. I'm in the studio. So I said before I leave, why not respond to it and react to it? Now, this is a New York native, and he's very well known in New York. This is Hocus 45. He's actually one of the most well known Bloods in New York. But he had a very, very, very interesting take on how he feels about Blood and Crip in New York City. Y'all check it out yourself.
At the gym, I just had an epiphany. New York need to drop Blood and Crip and give it back to LA. We need to start new organizations that teach the youth, these young boys, how to be men. They need discipline. You have to go to school. And you have to get up and exercise and work out. You have to. You have to protect your community. You have to greet the elderly with respect and help them if you see them with groceries. You have to stand or watch the bus stop and watch them kids go inside the building and make sure they're safe. You will not commit any crimes. You will not kill one another. Number one rule, we do not kill each other. And if you do and you go to jail, good for you. Someone snitch on you, good. Matter of fact, we're going to come and give you kill because that's the number one rule. If you got a problem with somebody, we make it an event. You fight them. You fight them. We throw a boxing event. We even pay the youth. We get funding from the government. And you know what? Y'all hug each other afterwards. But we will not kill each other. You will be ostracized.
Mm. Those are some pretty stern rules. What do y'all think about that, though? Y'all let me know in the comments how y'all feel about that. He said that you'll be ostracized if you commit a crime. He says, let's throw away with the blood and the Crip. And he said, let's just police our own communities. Make sure that this is what you have to do as a man. And he's saying, let's start here in New York. And the reason why this is very, very interesting is because if you know anything about New York and you know anything about Hocus 45, I don't know the man personally, but, I'll venture up north and, some people names, they carry. And he was one of the people whose name I came across. My brother actually was with him in a spot, and they was actually together. So I've heard of him, and I've heard he's a very, very focused dude, and he's not with the sucker stuff. You know what I'm saying? So he has a reputation as far as upstate is concerned about being as a stand-up guy. He has a reputation for being a stand-up guy. So for me, I just find this very interesting because he is I don't want to name his gang anything because that's none of my business. I don't know if he denounced blood, so I don't know if he wants that out there. But what I would say is that he was one of the leaders, he was one of the ones. And for him to, spend his whole life and sacrifice so much on the name of something and to just want to drop it because he has this change of heart is just very, very interesting to me. This is one of those topics where you gotta be careful in the world, you know what I'm saying? I could just go off and be like, yeah, gangs suck, gangs whack. I never joined the gang, you know what I'm saying? But I like the idea that he's saying, you get the one up. You got a problem with somebody, you fight them one-on-one and get it over with, nobody die. You kill somebody, you outside the city, man. You just ostracized. I like that part of the idea. But, in the New York City culture with gangs, even for Focus, I would think he would have to be careful saying things like this. But he's well revered in the Blood community and people love and respect him. But when you speak out against gangs in this fashion, it doesn't always turn out the way it's intended to turn out. But they say if you don't stand for nothing, you'll fall for anything. So I'm going to let him continue because this is a very interesting take. And again, I never joined the gang. I believe that, that, a man should have some sense of ability to be able to stand on his own, at least mentally, and be able to make decisions on his own. But I also know that there's strength in numbers. And when you have a lot of people with you and y'all on the same page, it's strength in that. Like 10 men are stronger than one strong dude. It's just a fact. So we have to keep things in context and make sure that we're not mixing anything up or getting lost anywhere. I'm gonna let him continue.
We need to do this because, and for the brothers that's in prison, this will help you, because this will show that the parole board, the government, or whoever, that wow, these brothers dropped the gang. Not only did they drop the gang, they started an organization, and it'll help you guys get home. Because what these little niggas is doing out on the street be affecting the brothers in jail, because they
I ain't gonna lie, I had to stop it there because I don't believe starting an organization in that fashion, especially with all the members coming from gangs. I don't think the government is gonna just let the red tape go that easy. It would definitely be a lot. And I believe that those same people would still be under a lot of heavy surveillance from the government because of their prior affiliations with said gang. So that was kind of easy said, but to actually do, come on, every black organization that comes together, it's always some friction involved from outside sources. Do your research. I don't have to get into that right now, but I'm gonna continue this.
they claim the same gang, and the brothers in jail don't even know what they be doing. The New York, we set the trend around the world. And what blood was intended for when it came to New York is not that anymore. So why hold on to something that can't be fixed? I think it's time for something new, and I think New York is the city to do it. But we think that New York need to let go what once was, and that didn't even originate there. Let's set the trend around the world. I just want to start the conversation. You know, I want to start the conversation, man, and teach these young boys they need to be how to be men, and they need some organization. And the people that's out there harming the community need to be ostracized. And you know what that'll do? That'll do away with all of this rat and stuff. He's a rat. He's a rat. He's a rat. Because everybody is talking about this rat and stuff because people are holding on to something that's no longer there. The streets. It's like that's what the streets is. That's what it breeds. Human beings do not want to stay in the cage. So they
That is true, man. They talking about this rat and that. Ratting is at an all-time high. Again, I never ratted. Thank God I made it through. But let's keep it real. It's a lot of dudes that ain't taking that time, man. It's a lot of dudes that can't stand on, the principles of the street. And, they don't want to be in a cage. People got families, they got baby mothers they in love with that love them, even though after they rat, the baby mothers always leave them and start disrespecting them and wind up back with a real one. But that's not neither here nor there. The thing is that the ratting thing is at an all-time high. The streets is at an all-time low. It is no real money in the streets. If you plan on being a major success at anything, you need to sit down and get a piece of paper and get a plan together, because the streets ain't gonna get it there. The streets ain't gonna get it there. So this coming from a New York affiliate that used to be a member, it says a lot. It says a lot to me. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna let him continue though.
do whatever it is that they do to get out of that cage. It's only a few people that's not going to tell. So expect everybody to do it, because and now with the emergence of people like 6ix9ine and the way it was glorified, and people like Whack 100, the way they pushed the snitch.
Yo, the glorification of people that tell nowadays is definitely different. I've never seen it ever in my life. But now you can see that, nobody cares if you tell. It's not like before where if you was a rat, your career was over, you're done, son. Gunna, I think he broke through that threshold. Gunna but the foul thing about Gunna's situation, Gunna's really not a rat. Gunna is the only rat in world history where everybody came home. And that's why he's getting justice and his name is being cleared without him having to say a word. And at the end of the day, I'm a fan of Young Thug. I don't like speaking too much bad on him, but he looking bad out here. He looking like he hating on Young Thug. At the end of the day, it's a lot of people who took pleas. It's people who took pleas on my case before I took a plea, and on multiple cases, and we never labeled them rats. You don't label no one a rat because they cop out. He copped out. It's not a rat. So never in the history of jail has what Gunna classifies as being a rat. And now that he exposed Gunna as a rat to the rest of the world, now things are coming out that, you know, the story may be the other way around. So you got to be mindful of these type of things. And so I feel like in today's world, I don't think that streets should have so much emphasis. And I think the young boys, even if the rappers, the top rappers are all going to jail. And the ones that's not going to jail, they're few and far between. And who knows how they're going to manage their success while they have it. Because believe it or not, rap and the NBA are what you make it. So they could be short-lived or long-lived. But in rap and music, too many times people are dependent on opportunities from other people. And I don't feel like that's something that is a good thing. If you're a person, you want to be in control of your own destiny. And I think the music business, unless you're an independent artist, you don't control too much of your own destiny. And again, you see your examples in front of you. Is that really success ending up with bids like Little Dirk? You see what happened to King Von. Is that really success? But this is what we're looking up to. Now, it's a level of success people have made it through. You know, you have the Jay-Z's, yes. You have the Gucci Manes. You have the young Jeezys. They're there. But let's not forget about all of the fallen ones, the stacked bundles. You know, it's a lot of fallen ones there. So we got to tell both sides of the story to the youth so they can get a real picture and a real understanding of what they have to do so they can maneuver in society. Because if we don't, we're going to keep leading them down the wrong path. And again, I'm not a gangbanger, but I just really, really appreciate this take because this guy is he was, like I said, he was one of the more prominent gangbangers in New York City, and now he's going a different route and he's changing his life and he's pulling a call to action. So let me see how much time is this in this video. I'm gonna let him say a little more of what he got to say on this subject, but I really just wanted to respond to this because it was definitely relevant to my beliefs and what I believe in. And it's not even about the gang stuff because gangs, you know, I deal with gang members, I talk to gang members, and I associate with gang members, and not in a way of being in the gang, but just through my different travels. I am a engineer. I do music videos, and you know, I do a lot of different content with different people from all different walks of life. So it's not like that at all.
Snitch culture. It's like, yo, what are we holding on to streets for? So let me know what y'all think in the comment section, man. I just want to start the conversation. See what some brothers think out there. I think New York need to drop the blood card. New York need to drop the Crip card. And New York need to start some organizations that I think will go viral and be on this side of history where we make history and change history. You know, I can't do it alone. We can only do it together. It'll take a conglomerate of the brothers that's at the top of the pyramid to make this decision together. And I think if y'all really want change, if y'all really want better, if you really want your kids to grow up in a better community, if you really want your grandkids, if you really want you and your family to grow up in a better community, this is probably one of the best moves that we can do to make change. And the world will follow. The world will follow this. I promise y'all. I know. So again, let me know what y'all think. Share this out if you think New York needs to drop blood and Crip and create some organizations that will influence the world to make the community a better and safer place for all of us to live in.
Y'all let me know what y'all think about that, man. Drop Blood and Crip. Make some good, upstanding, God-fearing organizations. You know, make it happen. You know, but you gotta be careful with that, man, because now you taking a bunch of people that was gangbanging, that was part of an organization, you put them part of one organization. What is really happening here? Are we just gonna dismantle one gang to create another? That's a whole nother question. But with the right intentions, who knows? Y'all leave it in the comments for me. Let me know with the right intentions. You know, could New York pull this off? And is it worth pulling off? Leave it in the comments. Let me know. Is Do Blood and Crip have some good? Is there good inside some of these gang organizations? Do you have good people that's part of them? Come on, man. I need to know. But all in all, New York City in the building. I'm Fred the Mayor. I got different layers, and you make sure you say your prayers. You already know the vibes, man. Uptown always, man. And I'm out. I'll catch you on the next one.